So, Mark, did you see the coolest souvenir in Vegas history? Orbi makes his debut as a cup. All the faces are there. Good stuff.
What do you think that is? Like $800 worth of drinks in that video?
I don't know, but the only thing missing is the longest bar in the world. I mean, how do you have this without that?
I don't know. Maybe it's like $750 worth of ice and $50 worth of booze.
Hey, it's a deal any day in Vegas. Well, Mark, New Year's Eve has happened, and hopefully we survived the strip. We had to record this beforehand, but here's a video that reminds people that they should behave well when they're on the strip. These guys were, I don't know what the heck they're doing, and doing the backflip on the plant had to hurt.
Yeah, the second guy pretty much like almost exploded his head on the edge of the concrete there, so I don't know what was going on there. The weirdest thing is, what is that, like a putter sticking up? Why is there a putter there? Where does it go when they stand up? What is happening? I don't understand it.
Well, now that New Year's is over, hopefully there's no videos of us doing similar shenanigans.
I cannot do a backflip, so you don't have to worry about that.
I might try. I don't know.
We'll do like when you're diving into the pool when you're a little kid and you just fall forward. We can do one of those.
The old man's version. So my beloved disco show is closing January 3rd, and we've talked about it, but shout out to Brian who sent me this information. They have discounted the tickets for all the shows through January 3rd to $37. So I guess if you're watching this, you have today or tomorrow, you could go see it before it closes forever. Don't miss this opportunity.
No, I mean, that's a great deal. And if you're interested in the show at all, or just kind of, hey, what are we going to do tonight for $37? It's hard to beat that value anywhere in Vegas. So check it out. And then you can see the bar, and the bars are going to stay open. So maybe it brings you back in the future to hang out in those spots too.
And that $37 includes the fees as well, which is really cool. So glad to see that we live in the age of that sort of disclosure. Caesars also extended their locals deals. Remember, they had run them over the summer, and then they extended them through Christmas Day, and then now they've decided to extend them through the end of February. But this is what? Free parking Sunday through Thursday, 25% off most food and beverage at their casinos, and probably an admission that things still haven't recovered the way they had hoped.
Yeah, I do wonder how this is doing. Is it driving more locals to go to those casinos and spend a little bit of money dining there? I would assume that it's doing something if they are continuing to bring it out. It's good to finally see them realize that, hey, having people that live here enjoy everything that you have to offer is a good thing. So hopefully they keep it up.
Yeah, just 2 months at a time. So why can't they just give us a whole year of this? It's like, okay, we'll just give you 2 more months. Hopefully the tourists come back. But until then, enjoy it. Yeah, remember, local ID. Free parking is a big deal during the week, so that is cool to see that extended. But let's talk Vegas near myths, another one of Corey Leviton's cool articles about Vegas myths. And these are the ones that are sort of hard to believe, but they're true, including a monkey trial getting filmed in secret with orangutans. This is a crazy story. I can't even give it justice for what it is. Of course, he talks about Lefty was a snitch, casino, the whole story. And then in the end, Lefty turned out when he died, they said he was an informant for the FBI, which is crazy. And the cave lady, the lady who lived in a cave. Another weird story up in Sunrise Mountain. Another sign that Las Vegas is a weird, weird place.
No, I think they need to redo the casino movie or do a different angle of it, knowing that he was a snitch the entire time. It's kind of crazy, and that would have been a really big twist if they had that in the movie or known it at the time. But I really wanted to go check out this cave. I thought it sounded really interesting, that area, but it looks like they closed it down in 2016.
Yeah, the lady I think hasn't been heard of since the 70s, he said, and she wanted to build a church there. No church was ever built, but the Mormon temple was built just down the street, and as you say, the cave has been shut off, so nobody can go in there. But cave people, FBI informants, orangutans, this article has everything. So this is a bit of a random show, but in the New Year's spirit, let's talk Tim Lager, the head of ops over at Four Queens and Binions, the social media phenom. His last name is Lager, and he took a lager to the face.
No, this is a lot of fun, and he had to guess the flavor of beer that they threw. I mean, they really got their money's worth out of it. How many times did they show the beer splashing on him in that short clip? Like 7 times. But no, a lot of fun, and he guessed it right, and he's given us a lot of good chuckles over the year, and it just seems like somebody that you'd want to hang out with, want to meet. I can't wait to go down there and give some business to them, just because it seems like they run a fun ship there.
Yeah, they're doing social media as well as any company in Vegas, and we make fun of their 1990s MS Paint sort of stuff and all of this stuff, but we really do love them. And I think over the course of covering this, I think we both have an affection for him. They even put together a combination of all the reels that they've done, so you get to see all of the insane stuff he has done over the last year, and some good stuff in there, I will say. Good sense of humor. More people who run casinos should be acting like this on social media.
Yeah, he seems way more approachable than you would think for like a director of ops at a major casino in Las Vegas, which that's what I love about it.
And staying downtown, Vital Vegas shared some pics of the transformation of Sand Dollar into Hogs and Heifers over at Plaza. Now, remember, this is just going to be a pop-up, I think, for 6 months or so, but it's not a permanent sort of setup for them. And I don't know what's going on here. It doesn't look like a huge transition to me.
Yeah, I wouldn't think they would do much to it since it is a pop-up. I would think they would just stock it with the stuff that they need and open it up and get going. And the focus is going to be on the new location and building that out. So I'm kind of surprised that they're doing much of anything here, but hopefully it opens up pretty soon.
Yeah, I know that Jonathan Joshua on the Plaza podcast, they just had an interview with the owners of Hogs and Heifers. I haven't had a chance to listen to that, but if you want more behind that and the transition and what they're doing over there, you can certainly listen to the podcast and learn about all the rowdiness coming to Plaza very soon. As a reminder, we have our Patreon. $5 a month gets you access to our weekly after show. Lots of new stuff coming to our Patreon we're announcing next month, so get in early. All of our current patrons will get access to everything. Patreon.com/MTM Vegas for all the information. And thanks to everybody who supports us over there. So let's talk Rio. We can't ever escape Rio in this thing. And actually some good news. They announced a pizza place is coming. Ampersand Pizza, I guess is how you would say it. And they are from the DC area. And this will be their first location on the West Coast. Kind of looks like flatbread type pizzas. I went and looked at their Yelp reviews and they're pretty good. This is going to go into the old Sportsbook Grill area, which will be kind of behind where Egg Slut is. And the weirdest thing on their menu, a Caesar salad pizza.
Yeah, it looks kind of like a sub that you could fold it and just walk and eat it. And I know some of their pictures show it as like in a taco tray and they're folded up a bit, so it's easy to eat and go with this pizza. I don't know if that's the gist here, but it does look like a flatbread pizza. They look really good, just on the smaller side, but I think they're around $12 on the East Coast, so we'll have to see what the prices are in Vegas. But if that's about the price point, that's a really good deal.
And this is probably a hole that Rio had in its lineup. We know they have the food hall, and now they added Egg Slut and another sort of fast casual thing with pizza, but they didn't really have that. The other thing we talked about on a show a couple weeks ago, Hash House closed over at Rio, and the kitchen table, the replacement, has now reopened. I think they put some green paint or some teal kind of paint on the place, but it looks largely the same, and the menu looks decent. So the crazy thing, though, is they had a toast section, a section of fancy toast.
Yeah, that's something different, something unique. It looks, I mean, it always looked nice. It still looks nice. The food, the pictures at least look like it will be really good. We'll have to see what it's like when you actually get it on the plate and taste it. But I think this is a good fit for them. Hopefully like a 24-hour type place that people can go when they're staying there. And hopefully the pizza place is open really late. I mean, there's nothing worse than wanting pizza at 2 a.m. and then having to go to one of those stupid vending machine pizza things.
Yeah, I think they're doing good moves on the food. I don't think it's a huge loss for Hash House. This will also be where the Hyatt Globalist breakfast is. I did confirm that with Rio. So if you are a Hyatt Globalist, it is moving back there. It was at Egg Slut, I guess, temporarily while they were transitioning, and now it's back over to the kitchen table. And yeah, it looks decent. Can't wait to try it out. From Rio over to Horseshoe, Laugh Factory. You remember Laugh Factory was at the Tropicana when it closed, and that's a famous sort of comedy club brand. I think it's been 12 years over at Trop. I mean, I remember the old comedy stop at the Trop. It's not an MTM Vegas show if I don't reminisce about something about the Trop. But anyway, it's coming to Horseshoe. The Laugh Factory is beginning in February, and that will be in the Imagine showroom. It's like 250 seats. And yeah, more comedy. And Vital Vegas wrote a whole article about this, and he made some good points that we are kind of oversaturated on comedy in Vegas. There are so many comedy clubs.
I still think it's a good get for Horseshoe and a name out there that people loved over the years. The price point's decent. 250 seems kind of big for a comedy club, but hopefully they're able to fill it up. And if they are, it'll be a really fun atmosphere.
Yeah, it'll probably show up on house seats, and I probably won't go, Mark. But, there's so much comedy. I mean, I could probably go to comedy every single night of the week between the permanent comedy clubs and then the comedy events. There's just a lot of stand-up comedy here. But if you're a lover of that, it's good. But these smaller types of shows struggling these days.
Yeah, I think they're getting lost in the hubbub of everything. It's the high-end shows are somewhat doing well, but we've seen a lot of the lower-end shows, the mid-tier type of productions just kind of get pushed out. So it's interesting to see them bring this back to life a bit when it's kind of falls into that area.
So moving out of Vegas to Kansas City, our favorite Vegas billionaire, Phil Ruffin, owner of Circus Circus and Treasure Island, just opened up a brand new casino, Gillies Park City. And this is on the site of a former Greyhound track. But this is the first casino I've ever seen with pari mutuel style gaming, meaning that you're gambling against everybody else in the casino. It's using historic race results to do that. And then the casino just takes basically a transaction fee, no set return to player. It's very strange. I'm still not sure I understand how it all works exactly, but this is a different sort of casino that's now operating in the US.
I don't know how it all works out, if that's better for us or worse for us, or we've talked about how there's not as much oversight in that type of casino. This just seems bizarre that it's happening and is out there. Kudos to them for being the first one to kind of break this barrier, I guess, but it just seems like we're going down a path that probably isn't going to end well.
Yeah, it's a very strange thing. SVoth1, I think, shared this on X to give him credit. And what they say is how it works: 100% transparent gaming. We do not set hold percentages, payback percentages, or house advantages. Player versus player, you're competing against other players, your friends, your family, and fellow cowboys and cowgirls. And then the takeout fee, we charge a takeout on all games. 30% of that goes to the state of Kansas, and then 70% stays with the casino. Again, I don't know if this is good or bad. Maybe somebody out there knows more about this and they can say exactly whether this is something that we should want to see more of. I'm guessing no.
I mean, just stay home and play cards with your friends or do the squares for football games. Move your money around between each other that way instead, I guess.
I wanted to briefly mention InKind. I've talked about them on the show before, and they're currently running an increased promotion for referrals. InKind is a payment app where you pay at certain restaurants, and they have 25 off 50 for signing up. Then if you refer your friends, you can get $50 in referral credit. The reason I mentioned it, they just added Lotus of Siam on Flamingo, a very popular restaurant here. Sparrow and Wolf, another really popular off-strip restaurant. We've talked about some of the bars in the Arts District, like Doberman, that's on there. Most of Jose Andres' restaurants, Rosa Mexicana. I think they have over 60 properties all around Vegas now. So they've expanded quite a bit. I've been using them a lot, really enjoyed it. And like I said, if you sign up, this is my referral, but you get 25 off 50. I think the real kicker is sign up your friends, or if you're going out to a bar and it's on there, get everybody to sign up, get that referral credit.
Yeah, especially if you're going, with your spouse or significant other or just a group of friends, do a referral chain and you can load up a whole bunch of money for your trip and save a ton on dining and drinks.
I was just in Miami the other night and I had a 25 off 50 coupon. We went to a place, it was $53.50, got the 25 off. So I paid $28.50, but I used discounted gift cards from Costco that I got at 35% off. $53 of food for $18, doing that all the time. And don't sleep on InKind, not just Vegas, but all around the country.
I hope you put the math up on the screen for people there, because that was a lot to throw at them.
Just trust me. So let's talk a little bit of Vegas numbers. There are some conspiracy theories this week, and we have to record before New Year's because of the holiday. So maybe these numbers have come out, but there's some conspiracy theories because the LVCVA numbers for November have not been released yet. But the airport went ahead and dropped the numbers for November, and it's pretty bad. It's almost a 10% change, 9.5% down the visitors. Last November was 4.731 million. This November, 4.275 million. This is big because F1 happened in November, and I believe we'll see that gaming revenue is probably up still because of the F1 race and things like that. We don't 100% know that either, and if I can get these numbers by the time I publish this, I'll throw them up on the screen, but this is as bad as it's been.
Yeah, and I mean, F1 was in November last year too, so it's F1 versus F1. So are we seeing a dip there? It sounded like tickets weren't as hard to come by and the seats were a little bit more empty than they were last year. So maybe that does play out, or maybe just everybody else that wasn't going to F1 didn't want to come for the spectacle like they did last year, or they booked it without knowing it and it's more known. It's kind of scary. I know international numbers were down even more, which makes sense with everything that's going on in that realm of things, but you would think it'd still be better. You would hope for better numbers.
Yeah, and year to date, we're down 5.5%, and that's through 11 months of the year. So it's an interesting comparison. There's a lot of data there. Probably going to end up over 5% down for the year. Domestic down 5.6%, international down 6%. So just a little bit more, but it kind of shows that international is down, domestic's down. My beloved Frontier Airlines is down. I don't know, but this isn't good for Vegas. And when you're seeing an entire year of these declines, it starts to be very worrisome.
Hey, Southwest is up. Let's get some positive in there.
And they got the new Chase Lounge. Things are looking good for Southwest. But I want to talk about Steve Wynn for a second. Steve Wynn is somebody that, depending on who you talk to in Las Vegas, they think he's the worst guy ever. Other people think he's the best guy ever. Let's not talk about who he is as a person, but let's talk about what he did for Las Vegas. And I think it's really hard to deny that this man ushered in the modern era of Las Vegas, of luxury, of what we sort of expect from a premium product, not to mention building the Bellagio fountains and all these sort of spectacles. We talked about art museums on a recent show and how he brought those into casinos as well. And he has recently started an Instagram account where he is sort of sharing his knowledge. And I thought I might read what he had to say, but should we listen to him, Mark? We'll start there.
I think you should. I mean, you got to put the personal stuff to the side and look at it for what it is and how he was able to successfully build these monstrous casinos and kind of kick that off. And they were all successful and moved on and continued to push the envelope there and build beloved properties in Vegas. Some of the most loved properties, maybe the top 2 or 3 in Vegas were coming from him. So I think you have to listen to what he has to say about that. If you can ignore the other stuff or put it off to the side, I think what he says makes sense. And I think a lot of people agree with it.
So let's see what he said. He said it was about freedom. People live a normal life at home, then they'd set aside some money, a budget, and that money would be used to go to Las Vegas, spend it in the way they want, live big, get a little crazy, stay up late, drink, go to shows, maybe gamble. All the bright lights, the freedom of Las Vegas to behave a little crazy. The town gave you permission. It was all about the freedom to indulge yourself. And we don't do that every day in our normal life. We pay attention to things, we live disciplined, go to work, take care of business. But Las Vegas, all that's out the window, and you live to have fun. That was the secret of Las Vegas, and it's real important that not change. We'll stop there for now, and he had more to say, but he's really sort of saying that the people who are running the city better be careful.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's what we've been hearing from everybody is complaints about getting nickel and dimed everywhere they go in Vegas. And when you went, you used to save up for this, and people still do. I don't think that's changed at all. You save up, you say, all right, I have $1,200, I have $2,000, whatever it is. I have this pot of money to come. I'm doing this for gambling, this for dining, this for shows. We're going to spend it out here. If I win a little bit, I'll spend a little bit more over here. But the problem is you're coming with that same amount of money, but it's getting slashed off bits and pieces, resort fees, parking fees, different regular fees for, oh, I want to go get a massage. Then they charge an extra fee there for this, or there's all these little things that nickel and dime, and that $1,200 you used to bring is now like $900 when you finally get to do the things you want to do. And you feel like, hey, I just missed out on a big portion of my bankroll paying off this all the stuff just to get here, or just to be here. And I don't get to do all the fun stuff with it like I used to. Net, they all end up, the same amount of money ends up in the pockets. It just feels like you got taken from it. You didn't get to enjoy it as much. And I think that's the problem.
Yeah, he's talking about the illusion that Las Vegas gave and the experience and the feeling that people got. He goes on to say people were free to spend the money they wanted. They could eat in a fancy restaurant or go to shows, stay up late, even gamble. Their choice, free choice. Live the way you want. Well, got to be careful in Las Vegas today that you don't start telling people how to spend their money, charge you too much for parking. Best not fool with the freedom of Las Vegas. And what I mean is the freedom of choice for people to spend their money the way they want. That's always been the secret of the place. And yeah, I mean, I think a lot of what's going on here, a lot of the numbers, a lot of the strife that's been in Las Vegas is a disconnect between that version of Vegas that became this world famous place and the bean counters that run it today.
Yeah, and the wording is a little bit weird there because you can still have choice. Like nobody's saying you can't go eat here or you can't go do that. Maybe you don't have the choice as much as you used to. Like you can't do things in the middle of the night that you used to be able to do. So I think they've taken away some choice there. But I think it's just the money doesn't go as far as it used to. So that feels like you're bringing the same amount, but it's giving you less enjoyment, which everything's gotten more expensive everywhere. But if you're like, okay, these drinks would cost this much in another big city, that's fine. But now you raised it even more than that. You just don't feel like you're getting the value that you used to get. And you would trick yourself into thinking, oh, I just blew $1,500, but it was a lot of fun. And now you're like, well, I only got to blow $1,200. It was less fun. I don't know. I think that's the sentiment that Wynn, not Steve Wynn, but the CEO or whatever that made the quote a couple of weeks ago when we talked about it, how they want to offer value. That doesn't mean that it's cheap, that it's inexpensive, but it feels like you got your money's worth. And that's the problem. And I think that's what Steve Wynn's talking about, is it doesn't feel like you get your money's worth anymore. And it's all an illusion. They could still end up with the same amount of money at the end of the day. Just let us lose it, blow it, do it our way.
And this is a guy who built his properties meticulously, the way they were planned out, the way, you know, everything was located, the way you entered the properties, and he thought of the entire experience. And I think we should listen. I think we should listen to him. He's clearly not in Vegas anymore. He's not allowed to have a gaming license anymore. And that's all been settled in the past. But that doesn't mean we can't sort of soak up his wisdom, as he's watching as an outsider, as the only company that seems to have weathered this sort of thing is his company, because he installed perhaps an atmosphere of customer service and value, as you say. And they figured out how to do that even in this modern world of the stock market and corporate interests and everything else. But that doesn't seem to be the case. And we saw this week with Caesars going viral for some stupid late checkout fee that they then deny. There's a target on Las Vegas's back, and the city needs to be above the fray, because every time something like that happens, every online discussion is just going to be about the same trope that Vegas is overblown, expensive, and you shouldn't go there.
And I think the lack of service that we get and them cutting back services to save money also is a part of this too. Like, you can still charge a high rate if you deliver on that, but right now we're getting high rates and maybe not getting even delivered on what we were getting for paying half as much. So if they had kept the service up with the increases prices, maybe even improved it a little bit wherever they could, and they could save money by cutting things elsewhere or becoming more streamlined using technology in those ways. Like, there's ways that they could have done this and cut their costs and still kept that level of service up there where it didn't feel like they were in your pocket the entire time.
Moral of the story, go down to Four Queens and Binion's, give Tim Lager some business. I don't know, but I'd love to hear what you guys think about what Steve Wynn said. I will put a link down in the description to his full video. You can watch it. I read most of it here. And I think, like I said, I think we should listen. And I think Las Vegas is a spectacular place. I'm proud to cover it here on this channel. I'm proud to be from Las Vegas. And I am proud to say that it is a unique place in the entire world. I think we've lost our way a little bit, and it's time to right the ship. And we need more people who love Las Vegas in charge of Las Vegas. That's the problem. I don't know. I'd love to hear what everybody has to say.
Yeah, I think propping up the smaller guys or the more individuals that are running these properties and are face front, they get it, I think, more so than MGM and Caesars. So I think we just need to lean more into that, and then slowly but surely the bean counters will figure out, hey, this is working.
So let us know down in the comments what you think about Steve Wynn and all of this sort of stuff. Disco Show, did you go there one last time? New Year's Eve, how was your New Year's Eve? Were you on the Strip? Were you watching the fireworks from somewhere else? Are you somewhere else in the world? Leave a comment. We do 2 shows a week, Tuesdays and Fridays, and we'll be back in a couple days with another show. Happy New Year. Thanks so much for watching. Lots of fun stuff in 2026. Stay tuned. See you next time.
Happy New Year, everybody. Have a good weekend.
That was only the second longest outro ever.